Hey, what's up, fam? It is Catherine back with another video. Dr. Talbert is not with me today. He is currently still at work. I wanted to hop on and do a video that I kind of been thinking about for a couple of days. And it is about being married to medicine. Stay tuned. So I know there's like kind of a lot of, what's the words, fluff around being married to someone who's in medicine. But I kind of, and I don't want to bring a negative perspective, but I just kind of want to talk about all the extra things that goes into being married to someone in medicine, and not even just married, honestly. Associated, friends with, family of someone who's in medicine. Just a little bit about, I guess, our journey. My husband graduated from college, so the first time, his bachelor's degree in 2013, the fall of 2013, and so med school didn't start for him until the next fall. So during that time, he just spent time working, teaching. He got a bachelor's in science as well as a teaching degree. So I guess double major. So he started teaching high school biology and chemistry, as well as working. If you watched our video, like telling you things about us, we worked at a pizza place called Gaddy. So he did both. So he was pretty busy for a very long time. So finished his bachelor's degree and then taught and basically worked two jobs up until it was time to go to medical school, and then he moved away to medical school. So I, at the time, was living in Baton Rouge, as was he, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Shout out to PR. And then he moved to New Orleans, which is an hour and a half away because he lived on the West Bank. So the beginning of med school was like crazy for our relationship, crazy period. We didn't know what to expect. We knew that it would require a lot of his attention and a lot of his time. And I respected that. So I think for the beginning, like maybe like first semester, first year of med school, we were on this schedule where we were talking like once a week. Not very long conversations, because he needed to be really focused. This is something that he's just kind of needed to conquer. So I spent a lot of that first year just kind of in Baton Rouge, doing my own thing, talking to him when I got a chance, waiting for him to come home for the holidays. I can't remember what holidays he came. I mean, probably came home for all the holidays. I just don't really even remember that year that much because we weren't really together. So then, second year of med school, that's like the last, if you know anything about medicine, that's like the last year where you're like strictly in class. So we got a little better there. He had found his groove, what works for him. So we got to talk a little bit more. And my husband, his studying routine is very interesting. So he's never been a person who learned information by someone teaching it to him. He's always been the person who learned information by him teaching it to himself. So he's never really missed a class or a lecture. I cannot say the same. However, he didn't learn anything. He just kind of went home, opened the book, and like taught himself everything, if that makes sense. So he also did that in med school. So he also did that in med school. And he also does this talking thing where he like out loud teaches it back to himself. So around, I think the end of second year going into third year is when I actually moved to New Orleans with him. And so that's when I got to learn about the talking thing, because I never really like been around him when he was studying. So it would literally like be times where he was studying and I'll have to go in the other room and like, but also be quiet and keep the TV down so he can like think and process and do weird things as far as teaching himself stuff. I don't know. However, third year is when you move more into like actual practice of different specialties. So as I thought third year was going to be even more easier, that necessarily wasn't the case. So while I'd actually moved to New Orleans with him, he was actually starting to do rotations that are away. So in med school, there's something called away rotations where you go to a different city. Sometimes people go to different states depending on what they want to do and work in their hospital as a med student. I guess the work isn't the work because they don't get paid, but volunteer in the hospital during different rotations. So as I'm thinking like, yes, like we're about to be together. Like this is going to be great, da da da, whatever. That's not what happened. So, and it happened like at the beginning. He was gone a lot. Like, and it, because the away rotations are like a whole month. So they're not like 2 weeks, they're not 1 week, it's a month. So basically like I had kind of moved in with him, but I was staying by myself. I didn't really know anybody in New Orleans. I didn't have friends there. I was working. But I was pretty much just like chilling in the apartment. That was pretty much it. So that was third year. Fourth year, he still had away rotations. And I feel like one time it was like 2 away rotations back to back. However, it was starting to slow down because now in fourth year of med school, you're kind of getting to the flow of getting ready to go to residency. So you're doing more like preparation things. So he had to take another boards, which he passed. And then after that, we started scouring, I guess that's the word, for programs that we might want to go to. This was fun because I got to participate, obviously, because I was going to be moving with him. We got engaged at the beginning of his third year, married at the end of his third year, and then we would be moving, obviously, at the end of fourth year. Yeah, I got to help him pick programs that we might be interested in, and also take some of those trips, so that was really fun. We went to Austin, Temple, Texas. We looked at Denver, Colorado, a couple of places in Ohio. I can't remember. It was a bunch of places. Also, we obviously looked at Omaha, Nebraska. So, y'all, the only thing I knew about Nebraska is that they had corn. And that's still probably the only thing I really know about Nebraska, to be honest. However, we just kind of threw it on the list. He needed like a list of like 25. And we're kind of like, okay, we've put all the places that we really want to go. Let's just find some one-offs to add, right? And he was like, well, I'll just add Omaha because they have like the College World Series. And we were joking about it. So he came to Omaha, which is where we are, for his interview, and I didn't come to this one. I just remember him coming home and saying, I saw the light. And I was like, in Omaha? And he was like, yeah. So I was like, okay. So he continued to interview. Oh, Tennessee was some other places. But anyway, he continued to interview. I'm thinking that he's going to see the light again somewhere else. But no. Here comes match day. And we ranked Omaha, Nebraska as our #1 choice. Because for me, I probably would have preferred to end up somewhere in the Carolinas. However, it was important that he got the best training that was necessary so that he can be the best doctor. And that's what I'm saying, like, being with someone in medicine or being the family of someone in medicine is hard because you have to make sacrificial decisions all the time. I think like his family would say the same thing. So we ranked Omaha, Nebraska as #1. And of course, because my husband is brilliant, he got his #1 match. Like, okay, we are going to Omaha, Nebraska. Let's do it. Omaha's been great. We've met a lot of people here. It is definitely way better than I expected. There is a lot of cornfields here. I've never seen as many cornfields in my life. There are real farms here. They're not like play farms. But there also is a city. There is the College World Series. Upon moving here, I started to look up, what to expect as a spouse of someone in residency, right? And I was hearing, if you hear somebody in the background, that's my dog moving his bed at random. I'm not sure why he's doing it, but he's having a good time. Anyway, so I started looking up like articles about like what to expect as a spouse of someone in residency, and I read these horror stories. So I was terrified. I was so nervous, and Willie was like, "It's not gonna be that bad. It's not gonna be like that." And I'm like, "Okay." It's like that's they're exaggerating. I kid you not. The first year of residency was awful. It was like the worst year of my life. Like his first year of residency was worse than his away rotations. Um, I think it was horrible not because like he wasn't here, but I just felt so bad. I felt like he was he was working so hard and so much. He was exhausted. It would be so many times he'd get home at like 10 o'clock, and you're like, oh, that's not bad. But you have to consider the fact that he got home at 10 o'clock, he hasn't had dinner or a shower yet, and he has to be back up at 5 a.m. Like it was rough. I spent most of the year just kind of like trying to do what I could, feeling sorry for him. I will say though, like he is a trooper. He really didn't show, like he was tired, but he wasn't like complaining and stuff. Because at the end of the day, I had to realize this is his dream. He's always wanted to be a doctor and nothing else, and he's doing it. So while he is exhausted, he's also like fulfilled and happy. So I will say that I would only the first year was that bad. Every year after that, and now we're in our third year, has been way better. So if you're someone who is related to someone or married to someone or dating someone who is going in internal medicine specifically, that's the only specialty I can speak for. Um, After you get through your first year, you'll be fine. I promise. Just get through the first year. So, like I said, this is our last year, third year. So for someone who wants to specialize in internal medicine, it is only a 3-year residency, thank God. So, earlier this year, we started to look for places where he'd actually want to work. Now that we've moved, like literally to the Midwest with no family, no friends, all of that, the location didn't matter as much for his first job. Well, it didn't matter that much to me. I don't think it mattered that much to him either. We'll be moving in 6 months. I'm super excited about that. Excited for residence to be over, even though my husband will continue to be a doctor. He will continue to kind of, really pour most of himself. Well, I don't want to say most. He'll continue to pour a lot of himself into medicine, which I completely and fully support. I think that what I've learned through this entire process is that becoming like some careers are like your career, you have a career and you're a person. But I personally feel like becoming a doctor like becomes so much a part of your identity that you just kind of have to accept that. And again, like this is his dream, and I support it, and I'm happy about it. We don't see very many minority physicians, and so I think that he's doing it for the culture, man. So just about some of the parts that are kind of glamorized, like that doctors are rich, they aren't. That they are arrogant. Like my husband, if you know him, he's the most humble person, extremely humble. Definitely owed to his parents for that. The point of this video and my reason for making it is to tell you that if you are interested, dating, wanting to date someone who is in medicine, don't do it. And I mean that. I mean, don't do it if this isn't your person. If this is not the person that you want to do the rest of your life with, it's not worth it. It's not, because you will sacrifice a lot for this person's pursuit of medicine. It's something you have to be prepared for. I I think if I knew at 19 what I know today, I don't know if I would have continued to date him. By 21, I knew that he was my person, and so I was willing to rock and roll with him to the end. It's been quite hard. We're almost to the end of this journey. We made it. We're happy, but we've definitely missed out on our 20s. We don't have, or we haven't done most of the things our friends in their 20s have done. We just didn't have that luxury. So I'd encourage you to kind of, like, for real, do your research about what this takes. Don't look at the, oh, like this person is going to like have this much money. That's not really the case for a long time. Like, my husband turns 30 next year. 30 will be his first time enjoying his life since starting undergrad in 2009. Like, think about that. Yeah, I'm gonna conclude this video. If you have any questions about how to, navigate a relationship in medicine or things like that, or if you want me to make a video specific to anything that I talked about, let me know. And also leave comments below about the next videos you want to see with me and Willie. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.